everyone, welcome back to Lucky by Nature. Angelic Vixen here. So in this video I'm going to show you an option for a Gacha Pellet tower. Up to 24 snow owls can be placed on this tower because you have to consider your trough, and anything above this you have issues with feeding them, because it would be out of range. So I want to show you just what we're looking at here, and then I will show you how to make it because it is actually pretty cheap to make. You can make it out of wood, or you can make it out of metal except for the catwalks. So let me just show you what it takes. It's actually very simple. And the way that the pellets come out of the snow owl is the reason why you can face them toward each other and they will land right there at the gachas, so they'll pick them up. So it's going to be a total of 8 foundations. However you want to do that, depending if you're on PvE or PvP, will definitely be the determining factor as to which resource that you use. And I just want to let you know, this is not the only way to do this, but I want to give you an option as to one of the ways that you can do this. And this is one of the ways that we're doing it, which is why I'm giving you this information. Now it's going to be 16 high if you want 16 snow owls. Of course, you will go higher if you want to do the full 24. Some people will be like, I don't need 24, 16 is just fine. And then I'll prove it to you here because of the way I'm moving. I will go back up and just show you that it is a total of 16 walls. And then when you're going to be going across, you're going to be using catwalks, which is why I mentioned it's very inexpensive to make, especially if you do this out of wood. Super simple. But again, it's going to be your preference and basing it solely on where you're building it, PvE versus PvP, so on and so forth. So let me just build this up here. So again, it's 16 high if you're going to go with 16 snow owls. If not, then you would make it higher. Okay, so just keep that in the back of your mind. It's entirely up to whatever you are going to be using it for and however many you feel you're going to need. Now, in the actual pellet tower, you would put your mating pair of gachas. Just keep them separate from other, pairs of gachas, because then of course they will not produce for you at the same level. So what you do is you put in the foundations, then you put in the walls, and then you move your gachas into place. And you do that because when you start putting in the catwalks, you need to be able to see exactly where they are. I do not put them completely on. They're about halfway, so when they sit down, they're not on the foundations, and the pellets will literally drop right down the center next to them, and I will show you, so you don't have to worry. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going to show you how high you go, and then I'll prove it to you, okay? So let me just get it in place, and right here. Of course, you'll end up having to do this on a flyer. I'm in GCM because I do all of this testing initially in GCM just to make it easier so I can float up. So I'm just going to show you that it's 4 high, 2, 3, and 4. There you go. Again, as you guys know, if you've been around a while, I like to prove to you exactly what I'm doing so that it's easier for you to recreate it yourself, because objectively that's always what we're trying to do. So then it's going to be 4 across, and voila, and then you're going to add the next set. And then I will show you landing the snow owls on there. It's not as complicated as you may think. It's not easy. I'm not going to say that it's a cakewalk. It's not a cakewalk, but it's actually not that hard. You just got to make sure that you see their talons right above the catwalk before you, land. It's not that bad. And then what you'll do with the next layer, now you can make this closer together, okay, is you're going to go 1 wall down, okay? You can go lower, and I will show that to you. You can make them a lot closer, but again, I like to have just a little bit of room. It's going to be your preference, but I want you to know you have options if you do not want to make it this high. If you are up here making it this high, of course, you're probably going to need a parachute to jump back down. But again, I just want to give you options, just information, okay? So as you can see, there is a nice gap in between my snow owls, but you can put them really tight together if that's your preference. I prefer not to, but here, I will show you what I mean. I don't like their little antennas sitting in the catwalk. See how it is? This is why I go 1 up more high. So I go up 1 more just because for me personally, I'm not a fan of their antennas going through the catwalk. But it does work even if you choose to do that. So again, it's all about options. I want you to know that you can. I just prefer the way certain things look. It has to be a certain kind of way for me personally. But again, you can go 1 lower, and of course it would just be, slightly smaller. You wouldn't be up as high. But again, 24 is the max based on the trough. because I always try to factor all this stuff. I try to keep stuff cheap to make and make sure that it is efficient with, you know, feeding your dinos and your creatures. All right, so now, as you can see, we're just slightly higher. So I just personally prefer the way this looks. And then I'm gonna take you up there and land the owl so you can actually see that it's not really that bad. And you can make them 4 across. You know, you may not need that many. It's entirely up to you, but I just want you to know that you can do 4 across and they fit nice and organized. And then, like I said, when you get to the very top, you are gonna want to parachute just so you don't take as much damage. If you've got high health, it won't be that bad, but I don't really want you to have to take damage. So when you pop off, you're just gonna, you know, fall. Voila. And then parachute would definitely, you know, lessen the impact. So that's how it works. And I can't wait to show you guys what I'm feeding my gachas right now, because these are my low-level gachas and they're producing really well. So that'll be in an upcoming video that I show you what they're eating to produce that many ascendant items. I have some really great findings that I want to share with you guys. And for me personally, I don't like to hoard information, so I want to give you as much information as possible. And as you can see here, the pellets are dropping and they're just picking them up. So there will be no waste for your snow owls, and the structure is very cheap to make. Keep in mind, you do not have to have really great snow owls for this process. Go out there and get the lowest level snow owls you can find. They're quicker, you know, easier to tame. It takes less resources to tame them, and you're just using them for their pellets. Your gachas will sit there and just keep picking them up, putting it in their inventory, and you are ready to go. So this method is very efficient, very cheap to make, and I like it because it's simplified. I don't want to spend a lot of time, nor do I want to spend a lot of resources to make anything. Each level holds a total of 8 snow owls. So even if you only did 1 level, that's 8 snow owls dropping pellets. If you go to the next level, 16, next level, 24. So again, it's entirely up to however you're going to be using it, where you are, how high you want it. Because again, for PvP, you're not necessarily going to want a monster tower unless you're an alpha, right? But again, this is just options. I want to give you as much, you know, information as possible so that you can have a successful experience on Ark, and I want to see you guys succeed. But that's it for this video. It's really short and sweet and to the point. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep surviving.
My work saved the human race.